Hi everybody, this is my buddy indoor propane heater, and I've shot some videos about it in the past. I'm not going to get into the whole indoor safe aspect of it and all that today. It is indoor safe, you can trust me on that one. What I want to talk about today is an accessory I bought that makes this thing absolutely fantastic. It makes it so much more efficient. You'll see how it's got that orange glowing plate in the front of it. That is actually the infrared heating tile, and it has a thin layer of propane burning in front of it, and it does a remarkable job at taking that heat and transforming it into radiant heat. You can stand fairly far away from this thing and still feel a lot of heat radiating off the front of it. However, like any fire, it does have a lot of hot air that rises up above it and just goes right up into the ceiling and gets wasted, and that drives me crazy. So what I was looking for was a fan that I could attach to the handle, like a clip-on fan. It was battery powered or something. But then I remembered thermoelectric generator fans that are actually made for wood stoves, but it works fantastic on this. So let me show you what I got. So that is the fan, and as you can see, it's very flat for sitting on your wood-burning stove. And it has a metal plate in the bottom. When that plate gets hot, the temperature differential between this bottom plate and the top plate through that insulator there causes an electric current to flow, and this fan just starts running once it gets hot. There's no batteries, there's no on switch, it's silent, and it moves a ton of air. So what I did was I took a little tomato steak or a little plant steak, I bent it into a sort of U shape and just kind of slid it through that hole so it sticks out the back. That allows me to simply do this without cooking my fingers. Allows me to simply stick it through there like that. I should have switched hands and done that right-handed. So you can see, nothing complicated. It's just sitting there over top of this heating tile. And in just about a minute, it will be hot enough where those blades will start spinning. Didn't even take that long. And they will start spinning faster and faster and faster the hotter it gets. Now, I wasn't expecting a lot. I was expecting some air movement, and I figured I'd be satisfied with that. As long as I was getting some of that wasted hot air to blow forward, that would be good for me. This so far exceeds my expectations. I just cannot believe it. Once this thing really gets up to speed, and it does take a few minutes to really get going, you can put your hand right here and you can feel a little bit of warmth, but it is not much. This thing takes almost all of the hot air that's rising up and moves it forward. And it's extra efficient because the way this is designed to work, again, the temperature differential between the top and the bottom, while the top does get too hot to touch, these are cooling fins. So the air is blowing through the cooling fins, it's pulling all that heat off of the metal, and it's just really, really efficient at collecting that rising heat and transferring it into blowing heat moving across the room. So I used to set this up when I was down here tinkering around. I would put it 2 or 3 feet away from me so that I could feel real intense radiant heat, and then I could also get a little bit of that rising heat. I could stick my hands out, sort of warm them over the fire. Now I set this on low and set it across the room, and it warms the entire room in about the same amount of time as it used to warm me up when I had it sitting on high right next to me. I cannot get over how much more efficient this thing makes the heater. Again, no batteries, no noise, no on switch, no nothing. And when you shut the heater off, as long as that stays hot, there we go. It'll just keep running until it cools down. So you get an additional 5 minutes or so of air circulating around while this whole unit cools down. So all that residual heat doesn't even get wasted. It's still blowing warm air around the room for several more minutes. So I will put a link down below to this. I really, really recommend it for if you've got a wood-burning stove or any other type of heater where something like this would work and you're trying to really circulate some air around the room. One other thing I do with this is we set up some potpourri on the kitchen stove, and I will then sort of share the burner. We have one of those flat top glass stoves. I will share the burner, half of this and then half of the potpourri pot, and this gets warm enough to start blowing, and it just circulates that potpourri around the whole kitchen without having any additional electricity. Again, no batteries, no on switch, no recharging, no electric wires. The only electric wires involved in this thing run from the bottom plate to the fan motors. That's it. That's a little thermoelectric generator. All the power comes from the heat in that bottom plate. Really, really neat fan. So what I was getting ready to say is that I picked this model because it's the rounded shape and it's low profile. It looks very sort of like it was kind of made to be on this unit. Most of these units you'll see if you scroll around on Amazon and look at other choices will be one single fan that's about twice the diameter of both of these. So keep in mind that two 2-inch fans do not move as much air as one 4-inch fan. So if you really want to move a lot of air, get the one big fan, and it won't look as nice, it won't be as small and tidy, but it will move more air. Having said that, I will say this thing so far outperforms my expectations. I just cannot believe it. So if you were looking to get something that's more sleek and low profile, don't think for a minute that this thing is not going to move a significant amount of air. I would guesstimate that it moves at least a few hundred cubic feet per minute. So that's a lot of air movement. It moves a lot more air than something like a bathroom ceiling vent or something like that. It moves way more air than one of those, and those are usually rated around 100 cubic feet per minute. So there you go. Check that out. Check out the link down below. Don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I am going to be shooting a video real soon about how to refill these. It'll save you about 50% on what the cost of these little propane tanks are if you just get one of those big grill-sized 20-pound canisters and then get a valve to refill it. So I'll shoot a video about how to do that. It's really easy. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you real soon in the next one.